Hello and welcome, one and all. Nice to see you again here at Kilohearts. My name is George, his name is Pad, his name is also Pad, and we are here for another exciting evening of fun and games and chat, all about audio and plugins and multipass presets and design philosophies, many good things. So get involved in the comments, don't forget to click like on the stream and tell any friends that you might have to come along and join us as well. Now's the time, or they'll miss it. No point telling them later, it'll be too late. Hello fellas, how are you?
Hey, I'm great. It's very cozy in here today.
I know, we've gone for a sort of simmering evening vibe. It's getting a bit dark in the evenings here in Sweden, so we're taking advantage of that.
Yep.
Yeah. And how are you, Pat?
I'm also great.
Also
Very
great?
much so, yes.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
That's a 3 out of 3. How are you all at home? Tell us in the comments. We've been doing some upgrades to our setup here for streaming, and we've actually got the comments in front of us for the first time. We can actually see them on our screen over here. So we won't miss a single one. That's a guarantee. We're definitely going to read every single one.
Right,
That's not
yeah,
true.
yeah.
We aren't. But we're going to try. Let's say hello to a few people before we get on. Just a Kumquat is in the chat. Nair Cole, Capture Light, Mysterious Stranger, 5 steps. Hello, everybody. Razvan Rusan, Mysterious Stranger again. Ferenc, Black Marvin, lots of the usual crowd. Lovely to see you all. Jason Gilman, Ali, Min Mang, Amado. Great to see you all. Welcome.
Yeah, welcome.
It's cool to have a big crowd, isn't
Yeah,
it?
absolutely. I see Noi Catalyst. I was just speaking to him earlier on our Discord.
Yeah.
I was waiting.
Excellent. And House Music Sensation in the chat as well, saying hello. It's a very appropriate comment to begin with. Lovely to see you all. So let's get started, shall we? We're going to talk about the entries and the winners of our Multipass preset competition we've been running in the last week. But we thought we'd tease that and save it for later. We're going to show off a few of the honourable mentions and the winners. We basically gave out a loop of audio and said, have fun with that, change it with a Multipass preset, and you could win some merch. And we got some wonderful entries.
Yeah,
didn't we?
absolutely. We did we had a sort of listen through all of it, and we decided on a couple of winners earlier this morning. And yeah, people do mind blowing stuff with Multipass.
Really
It's absolutely crazy
impressive
what
stuff.
you can do. Yeah.
So we're going to talk about that a little later, but we're going to sort of start by talking about the tagline, the slogan, the little bit under the name. It's Kilohearts. We love sound design.
Yeah.
Right? So you guys came up with that several years ago. What's the meaning behind it?
So it's a pun, as is much of the stuff we do. Well, it's not so much of a pun, but that's a double meaning. So sound design as in, audio design, and sound design as in good design or worthwhile, or I don't know, any other synonym to good, I guess.
Yeah.
Healthy design. And we try to live up to both. We try to make a technically capable system of tools that allows for very experimental and creative sound design, and we apply sound design principles when creating it, so that you can understand what you're doing, hopefully without having to read the manual, even though we do offer a manual that could be useful at times. But that's sort of the idea behind it. We try to make this. We try to let that philosophy run throughout all of our products, and sometimes we do a good job, sometimes less so. We do it with our install flow, when we try to make it as pain-free as possible, and we do it with our tools, where we try to avoid redundant features and make everything clear, and try to use words that are descriptive rather than standard, if that makes sense. A lot of the audio industry has a lot of tradition and history where things have had a name because of some reason, and then that reason was eventually sort of forgotten about, but the name stuck around, and we're trying to get rid of that kind of stuff and use understandable words for the concepts that we try to convey. And I think people are generally happy about it, but we'll see in the comments.
Yeah, well, absolutely. One thing that interests me about that is obviously it's not just a visual design thing. It's a question of design of experience in a much more general sense, right? So obviously there is some visual stuff which I hope we'll talk about. We'll look at a few of the plugins, and you can tell me a few of your thought processes in terms of the way they look. But it's also about the way they work. And Per Larsson, you're involved in the DSP side of things, in the way that the products work, perhaps more than anyone except maybe Anders. And there's presumably a lot of decisions you make that are design decisions in that sense. What is it about? Is it about cutting out features most of the time? Or is it a bit more complicated than that?
A lot of it is about that, because that's all programming. I think like a programming language can do whatever you like, and your job is to remove possibilities so that the possibilities remain or like useful and understandable.
It's like subtractive synthesis.
Yes, exactly like that. So that goes for when we design the DSP and everything as well. Like the feature set of a snap-in should make sense. Like it should be like self-contained and not have all sorts of different modes of operation. It should be like good audio quality by default. If you just drop it in, you shouldn't have to like configure it to do the right thing. It should just like by default do what you want.
Mm-hmm. And can you maybe give me an example, as someone who doesn't design plugins personally, of what would be unsound design, maybe in reference to one of our products? What kinds of decisions have you made to eliminate a decision that would have been a bad one, or to take a path that left us with a better result?
Right, yeah, so people commonly ask us about extra features on the small effects units, the ones we call snap-ins. Stuff like, I don't know, could we put a filter in this other thing? People commonly have an idea of features that, or like several effects that go well together, and we try to stay away from that. We try to tell them that if you want those two effects together, then you can put them together, either like just one after the other, or you can use Snap-Heap, for instance, to make your own plugin out of it that has those two effects in series. And the main reason we do that is because we want all of our modules to be like almost mutually exclusive, if you will. We try to keep the overlap at a minimum between the modules, because we try to name them accordingly. So this is a concept that I learned from a game that I play, Magic the Gathering. People might have heard of it. It's this card game, and they have a brilliant lead designer who's been working there for years, and he used to write articles about how he designed cards and his design philosophy about it. And he often talks about elegance in design, and it's a big concept, and I'm not gonna go into all of it, but sort of some of it applies to what we do. So our modules, we try to make them intuitively understandable just from that one word that is the name, and then it does basically nothing on top of that, which is how we want it, because then you can instead use them as building blocks and put them together in the order that you're looking for the signal flow, sort of.
And sometimes those things are in a bit of a conflict.
Yeah.
Like, for example, we wouldn't want to make a filter snap-in and a distortion snap-in that also is a filter.
Yeah.
Because that's sort of like, no, you should combine those two. But on the other hand, our distortion snap-in has a DC filter.
Oh, right.
Which is like, it's just a high-pass filter that's enabled by default. So like you could do that yourself by putting a filter after it. but we felt it was like important enough to have that on board.
Yeah, there's
So-
sort of a difference between the two uses as well. So in order for someone to understand that a distortion unit might introduce DC and they should filter it out, they sort of have to have a pretty good understanding of digital signal processing, and they might not. So that feature, like having a toggle inside it that says take away all the bad stuff, that's like a little bit like philosophically that's a little different from asking people to put a high pass filter after it, because they might not realize without some pretty deep understanding what they need to do in order to make this happen, as opposed to someone who just wants to like shape the sound a little bit with an EQ or a filter. This is like removing an error almost.
Exactly. There's also the DC filter doesn't affect the sound that you hear,
No,
because
right.
what it cuts out is below human hearing.
Yeah.
So it's more just rectifies an error that
Yeah.
that the
But in
distortion
terms of the
introduces.
design, it's a sort of one of these fringe cases that I bet you come across all the time, where you have to make a decision to make something more elegant or more functional, or hopefully you find a good compromise that's both. Maybe I can move us over to here, and we can look at a few of these and talk about. Here's I imagine pretty much the most basic one.
Yeah.
In as much as it's one control, gain goes up, gain goes down. But even over here, we've got a choice between decibel gain and percentage gain.
Right. Yeah.
So there's a design decision you made right away. That's more complicated than it perhaps could be.
That was actually in a feature update. It used to
Right.
be decibel only. But if you have decibel only, of course you can't do fade out to nothing in a decent way. So we introduced a percentage mode as well.
I like this feature.
Oh yeah, that's brilliant.
Do you have the
Very useful.
content banks installed?
Oh yeah, the gain content bank.
Yeah.
I don't know that I do have that one installed, but
Well, we joke a lot about this one because it seems so stupid at first sight, but the fact of the matter is that it's actually quite useful, not only within our host plugins, but also like in some of the DAWs that don't offer this feature on their own. If you have a long series of plugins on your effects on your track, it can be very useful to adjust the gain in between two of them, depending on what they do. And surprisingly enough, we see around the web comments on how useful the gain plugin is.
yeah. Well, I find myself using it all the time, even if just for sort of layout and quality of life and stuff.
Yeah.
I've been thinking about how useful Snap Heap is lately, just in terms of giving you a unified interface across different programs, because I'm always using video editing programs and audio editing programs and back and forth, and being able to just do all my audio editing pretty much within
One thing, yeah.
the same system that works the same way every time.
Yeah.
Is that the dishwasher making
Yeah,
a noise?
It was happy because
Did
it
you
was-
hear that, everyone? Little Easter egg.
It sounds like you found a secret in Zelda or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, but I've got up now the distortion and the filter plugins, which we were just talking about. So we've got this DC filter, which is essentially a high-pass filter,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
one that would go way off the bottom of the map
Yeah, it's
here.
like at 15 hertz or something.
Yeah. And so there is a bit of a crossover in functionality sometimes, but as you say, Per, the design decision there was to use this to be a sort of an educational tool to some extent, or to
A
offer
little bit.
people some understanding of what's
Right, yeah.
happening in a different way.
Yeah.
It's actually a new feature that you can turn it off at all. And something that the users fought quite hard for us to add. Because we felt it was like, of course, it should have a DC filter.
But some people want to turn it off because
Yes,
they-
and there are definitely reasons to turn it off.
Mhm.
If you stack several distortions after each other,
Mhm.
the DC filter could actually make a difference to the sound.
Let's
But-
look. Oh,
yeah,
sorry,
can
Per,
I just
go
mention
ahead.
something about the gain plugin again?
Oh, for sure.
So the gain plugin is, as everyone can see, an extremely simple plugin. But we have sort of a philosophy when we design these that they should be like musically useful.
Yeah.
So we try to stay away from the ones that are too low level, if you will.
Okay.
We do have some utility modules, like in the modulator section, like lower limit and multiplier, whatever they're called, scale. But we generally try to stay away from like things that are mostly like just simple mathematical operations, or we don't want people to start building. Well, what we're trying to do is we're trying to stay away from like full modular, like in the sense of Eurorack and stuff, where some modules can be so low level it has very little to do with actually making a sound or making music. So we're trying to keep people in the right kind of state of mind where they can focus on being creative and stuff, and not getting bogged down in building like their own logical gates or stuff. So yeah, that's just something I wanted to say, and that's something we think about. Don't make it too low level.
Yeah.
That's the thing. They're always designed, I think, thoughtfully to be useful to the people that you're designing them for.
Right,
It seems like that's the sort of the watchword more than anything is this actually going to be something people can and will want to use, as opposed to, is it nifty, which is another completely legitimate design philosophy. But it seems like you're working to give people things that they can really use, instead of just looking at and going, yeah, that's, cool, I suppose. Lots of comments coming in, so I'm going to switch us back to camera view, and we're going to take a look at them, and you can watch us reading and see if we look confused. Percentage is my favourite, by the way, says Sanjo, in the game plugin. So, and same, says 5 Steps. So the percentage, useful stuff.
It is.
Yeah. House Music Sensation says plus 3 dB, it means plus 100%, right? This is something I was going to ask about, right? Percentage of what?
It's talking... actually, if you go over to percent there, I'm not sure if it says plus. No, it just says 100%. So it actually now multiplies with 100%, which is 1. So it does nothing. So that's the same as 0 dB.
Yes, and if I turn it
increase
up
it
to...
by 100%, you get to 200%, and that's...
Is that plus 3 dB?
3 or 6, who knows?
Is there a
go back to
philosophical
dB
debate there? Let's see.
It says... Oh, no, it doesn't. Doesn't carry over. There is a philosophical debate if decibel, if you're talking about the power or the field quantity, which is like the voltage in the wire versus the like
pressure,
the wattage,
air pressure,
I guess. If you think of Ohm's law, you have voltage times power is voltage times current, and current is proportional to voltage.
You're looking at Per like he's going to correct you or
no,
confirm.
I'm just trying to remember the letters in Swedish and translate them to English.
In the end, you get that power is proportional to the square of the voltage in the wire.
Mm-hmm.
And decibel usually measures the power, the voltage. But the percentage there is the voltage. Yes.
Good to know, because it's been keeping me up at night. That
I've been
wondering.
I've been working with this for 10 years now, and I still have to go to Wikipedia every time I worry about decibels because it's so confusing.
Excellent. Navi Retlove is in the chat,
yeah.
And I just somehow managed to scroll away from Navi's question, so we'll come back to that in a moment. We're getting so many comments, it's just flying by.
Yeah.
Here it is. It would be nice, says Navi, if Gain plugin could also show the peak and RMS values.
That would indeed be nice.
Is this coming into the area of metering as much as anything, though? Or are we having different modes again?
I'm not really sure what it measures at the moment, if it's peak or RMS, but it's one of them. In the meter below there, if you send audio through it. And showing both should be doable.
I am sending audio through it now, so I've no idea if people can hear us over this noise, but oh, it seems to be.
Oh yeah,
Tracking
you
rather
found
slowly.
you found the bug that I fixed today.
Oh, did I?
Yeah, keep moving the mouse. It should have-
Keep moving the mouse.
Yeah.
What's that all about? This is exciting.
Yeah, we did some rendering optimizations in the last release, and we actually broke animations in some cases. So hotfix coming.
Hey, it all happens. We keep busy with it. Okay, wonderful. We are going to get onto these competition entries relatively soon,
Yeah.
everyone. So do hold your breath on that. We're gonna keep teasing you a little longer first. Just a kumquat says running that dishwasher sound through granular ASAP. It's a great idea. Go ahead. Nasco in the chat. Especially on kicks, DC filters change the sound drastically. I would imagine so. Really sort of tight, low frequency stuff that matters, doesn't it?
Yep.
Yeah. So let's see. Jason Gilman Jr. says, haha, demos are the best way to find bugs.
That is true.
I find that I only ever notice them when I'm trying to show other people things.
Yeah.
Yeah. Otherwise, my brain ignores them as I force a way round them. You know. Excellent. Either of you seeing any comments you wanted to address here? I'm monopolising them. It's fun because you're all having lots of lovely chats in the chat, and we don't want to jump into them in the middle. But yeah, keep them coming, folks, and we'll get back to them maybe a little later.
Absolutely.
Really nice to see you all involved, and don't forget to click the thumbs up thing so that everyone else sees as well. Because if we get over 100 likes, YouTube has promised us that they will send a notification to all members of the mailing list for every plugin manufacturer in the world.
All right.
So nice.
So please help us out with that. Cool. Shall we take a look at some
What exactly
Multipass?
what is exactly disperser? It says we just got a question.
Classic.
Yeah, it's one of our most common questions. It's not so much around design philosophy, but just technically what it is it's a number of all pass filters. So an all pass filter will let all of the frequencies through at the same amount that they were coming in, but it will still have the phase shifting that happens around the cutoff of a normal filter. And the leftmost knob on disperser, the amount knob, it has a value to it that says something when you like move it or something. No, it doesn't say exactly the number, but it's the number of consecutive all pass filters that are being used. So from 0 to many, and that's like an integer number of filters that you can't have half a filter applied. So don't modulate that, or you're gonna get some weird clicks and pops when some of the filters turn off and some turn off on. And then the pinch is like Q, I guess, on all of these filters. And then there's the sort of control in the middle where you set the cutoff frequency. And pinch and the cutoff you can modulate, and when you do, you get some pretty cool results. It goes like super strange. But it's that's what it is. And what the effect sort of sounds like is it makes a lot of transient sounds sound like lasery. So drums will get kick drum will sound boom, and then you put disperser on it and it will go zoom. If that makes any sense.
The graph that's displayed here in the UI is something called the group delay of this filter, which is how much a certain frequency is delayed by the phase response of the filter.
Oh yeah.
So you see it always slopes down, so you have high frequencies, low delay, low frequencies, high delay. And that's where you get that sap, because you get the high frequencies first and the low frequencies later.
Excellent stuff.
Yeah.
So we hope that answers your question.
Yeah.
And let me just double check those comments before we get into the multipass presets. Sup guys, been using a few of your plugins on a daily basis. Now hugs from Brazil.
Yeah, hugs.
Thank you.
Lovely
Thanks.
to see you.
From Sweden.
We had a comment from Ireland earlier on as well,
Oh,
and
right.
another from
Nice.
another country that I've forgotten now. But it's lovely to see so many of you from so
Yeah.
many places.
Can you add something interspersed that shows the phase shifts that's happening? That's the curve, right?
It's sort of the curve. The curve is group delay, which is like one more step of computation before you get
Okay.
it.
Right.
The phase curve could be shown, but it's yeah, it depends on how you graph it, but it can be kind of confusing because it wraps around.
Oh yeah.
But you can sort of do stuff to unwrap it. But I don't know.
Something to think about for your next design session.
All right.
Excellent.
We have something more. Navi Retlaw says, which snapping can we use to invert the phase of a signal? That's easy. I can answer that. That's channel matrix. Or channel, yeah. What is it?
Channel mixer.
Yes.
Yeah, let's have a look at that one.
Mm-hmm.
That looks like this.
Yeah.
And I think I can explain this one
Go ahead.
just to remind myself, because I learned all about this when we released it. So this is 4 knobs, and they each have some arrows above them to represent which channel of audio is being sent where.
Mm-hmm.
So this first one is left channel going to the left channel, and we can have it up to full volume or down to 0, which is no sound, or all the way this way to -1, which is phase inverted 1. And you can do the same to the right channel if you want, and then your signal is phase inverted in both channels.
Yep.
And you can also send the right to the left and the left to the right, and get all sorts of fun going.
Yep. And,
Yeah.
and this is a good opportunity to show people who haven't realized before that the little arrow at the top right of every snap-in has, if you click it, you get a preset browser.
Prepare
Yeah.
for the world's largest
Yeah.
preset browser.
Ah, shall I just tidy up a little bit? Let's see.
And here you can find the factory
sorry.
presets of all of these snap-ins. So all snap-ins have at least a few. Channel Mixer is one of the ones that actually have more than just 2 or 3, and all of these are extremely useful. And as a matter of fact, these are probably most likely like 99% of the use cases for this plugin. So this is a good plugin to go for this preset browser if you wanna learn what it can do.
Yeah, and as we see, the invert phase preset gives us -1 left to left and -1 right to right.
Yeah.
You can
As you
also
would
plop
expect.
it in Snap-Heap and modulate all the knobs.
Yeah,
That's true.
You get
That's
some
something
very
that-
swirly sounds.
Sounds very cool.
Yeah.
So that's why I said 99%.
So that answers the question, we hope?
Yeah.
Wonderful. It's an interesting little tool, that.
Yeah.
Okay, the time has come, I think,
Yeah.
for us to get everyone's listening excited. We've been running a competition over the last week to transform this loop into something different. Sounds like that. We've got 2 sets of headphones between us. By the way, tell me in the comments if you can still hear us talking over that music.
I can't hear any music.
You can't hear any. Oh, let me give it a wiggle.
Oh,
Does that help?
yeah, it was just.
So the idea of the competition here was we run the sound through Multipass and do whatever we want to it, and out comes something else, something cool, something different. And yeah, music is louder than we are. Okay, I thought it might be, so I'm just going to turn it down a touch, and we're going to hopefully be able to speak over. But yeah, cool. It's a wee bit loud, but we're cool. Thank you, everybody. So let's start off by just taking a look at Multipass, which is, of course, a crucial issue. And hopefully a lot of you will be familiar with Multipass. This is multi-band processing. You can split your sound into up to 5 bands and add different effects to the different bands. So you might want to just apply some processing to your high mids, for example. You might want to put a flanger just in there and it does some wild stuff, but without affecting your low mids, say, etc., etc. Those are the basic principles. And with this power, you can do almost anything, as we're about to demonstrate with the honourable mentions in our competition. So we had lots of wonderful entries, and we've been through them trying to separate them and pick the ones we think are most creative, most technically impressive, most amusing. And obviously this set of decisions is just our opinion, and we did our best to have good reasons, but mainly we just picked things we thought were awesome. And so thanks very much to everyone who sent them in. We loved them all, and these are just some of the ones that we loved. We'll start with our honourable mentions, of which we have 3. Let's start here with Super Looper Multipass. So now I need to just find my folder, and I need to look through it and drag and drop the preset. It's as simple as that, isn't it, folks? And now XTD's Super Looper preset is in Multipass. And do you want to hear it, everybody?
What?
Let's put our headphones on and
I can sing it for you, Per.
Yeah, perfect.
we'll take it in turns a bit. I need to hear it all because I haven't heard any of these yet, actually.
Really?
These guys have. But are we ready?
That vibes.
Very interesting. So I'm just going to pause it there to comment that there's so much fun stuff going on. Would Percy like to hear it just a little bit? There's
Some heavy filter shooting going on here. Alright, cool.
Yeah, so we'll try and pick them apart just a touch. We won't be able to go into a ton of detail on all of these, but there's clearly lots of modulation going on. There's 3 different frequency selections, bands, with a bunch of effects going on each of them, and it makes it sound, as you said, quite dubby, quite filtered, and there's a lot of strange balance shifts going on. So wonderful work, XTD. Any thoughts, guys?
I really like the lo-fi sort of vibes it got. I can see how that will happen when you process it a lot, and it makes me feel like it's something I would hear on a Spotify playlist where it has lo-fi beats to study to.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Since we've been talking so much about gain, I was just drawn to check out these gain snap-ins, because it seems like there's quite a lot of changing of the gain going on, and this mid-band is being modulated quite heavily, and there's some gain happening in the higher frequencies too.
Some kind of wobbly effects going on.
Yeah, and I see there's some EQ in the mid-band there. And anyway, great work.
Cool.
Yeah. So, honourable mention. XTD,
really
well
good.
done. Lovely stuff. The next one we're going to take a look at is Meow Mix 16-ounce just add bass dot multipass. So that's here, and that is by Aquasign. So well done, and different look certainly. Oh, Transgate there. Oh, all sorts of fun happening. Oh, and look, cat-shaped LFO table happening at the bottom. I expect that is sonically relevant.
Yeah.
Shall we have a little listen?
Yeah.
Here it comes.
Oh. Interesting.
Can you hear the cats?
Warbly. It has like a compositional element to it. So since it's only like 8 bars, the song isn't very long, but it sort of fades in.
I see.
Yeah, cool.
So lots of fun happening there.
Yeah.
What is being modulated? Yes, the pitch is being modulated by the cat. I see. And the pitch only of that high mid band there. Yeah, cool. And Oh, I suppose we should play with a couple of macros
Yeah.
when we have the chance as well. So there's a lot of fun to be had. I'm not sure that I'm going to work that one out during the stream. I might have to take it home and study it, but it's fabulous. Way to go, Aqua Sign. Good stuff.
Yeah.
It's already remarkable how much different you can make a thing sound just by fooling around in Multipass, right? Let's listen to our final
runner-up. Yeah.
honourable mention. Yeah, Mangled Techno Musings by Infinity X Oblivion. So that is this one here. Congratulations. This is lots of facturator, I see. Bit of disperser in the low frequencies there. We talked about how that can make things go pew.
Yep.
So I'm expecting it to be very pew. Shall we have a listen? Ready, everyone?
It's heavy.
You might want to toggle like the power button on Multipass to remind everyone what the original.
Of
audio
course,
was.
yeah. Let's just, good point. It did sound like that. I mean, it's undeniably an improvement. Beautiful stuff. What do you think of that, Per?
I think it was great.
Would you like
It
to
was,
give Per
No,
some
I heard it before, but it's really cool. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Excellent, yeah. Yeah, terrific. That's a really interesting one because I was expecting it to be very meowy, but it was actually very boo-y. And that's a great surprise to have. Good work.
I noticed that Infinity X Oblivion did not use any of the nested hosts, right?
Right.
I don't think so, at least. If you
I
scroll all
think
the
you
way
might be
to the-
right.
Yeah, it just.
Oh, here's one.
There is one.
Because of course you can
Yeah.
put Snap Heap within Multipass and Multipass within Snap Heap and Snap Heap within itself and so on if you want to. So things can get just endlessly.
Yeah, so this one is it's like
interesting
sort
if
of
you
a
like.
little utility thing that has its internal modulation going on, which is a thing you can do if you want to reach a special effect, a certain effect, or if you just run out of modulators in the outer host, you can you can get some more by nesting the hosts. Yes.
Yeah. There's pretty much no end to it. This
No,
is
right.
one of the dangers because if you have a free afternoon, you can lose it pretty quickly
All right.
with this
cool.
stuff. Awesome. So
Want to move on to the
let's talk about
finalists?
the winners.
Yeah.
Yeah. We've got 3 winners.
Yep.
Carefully and lovingly selected. And in no particular order, I think it's fair to say. We just
Sure.
think these were wonderful. And we
Yeah.
will be sending out a T-shirt, I
Yep.
think, to everybody
Yeah.
in this little trio. So well done. And drum roll, please, for... good title on this one. Multipass entry, brackets, see description, close brackets, by Mostrino. So let's bring that one up.
Mostrina, I recognize that name from our Discord. I think he's an active member.
Excellent stuff. Please make sure the project is set to 88 BPM so the modulators are in sync with the loop. It is. Good stuff.
Yeah.
Thank you for reminding me, though, because I could have easily forgotten. Let's have a little listen, shall
Yeah.
we? Here it comes.
Oh, he's got this. He made his own lead, another lead instrument, doing its own melody. That's impressive with just an effect that doesn't have any like. Multipass can't generate a signal on its own.
No.
You have to like take what's coming in and modify it. So
That's
really
very cool, isn't it?
Yeah.
What would you guess was the method there? It sounded
Probably
very
like a
familiar.
resonator on some of the high frequencies, and then an LFO to like.
Oh,
No,
look at
wow,
that. Some
no.
frequency
Yeah,
shifter
okay.
there on the very high frequencies and
No. Okay.
facturated
Yeah, I was
snap
wrong.
heap here. Oh, very clever. Not a resonator inside. I was going to say resonators
yeah.
as well, but that's really
Alright.
cool.
Yeah.
It did something I couldn't think
Isn't
of.
it interesting? And there's some Oh, do you know what though? No, still no resonators. That's flangers.
It does have flangers with a lot of feedback.
Output.
Oh, yeah,
Which is sort of in a resonator.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, but that's a pretty cool little variation on the idea. Yeah, this is kind of we've talked about this before. That sort of couple of strong delay-based synthesis where you create a tone by creating a very short string of delays that sound almost like an oscillation. So that's really cool. I just remembered that I've got a piece of mystery audio to check these out on as well.
Right. Yeah.
I think this might be a reasonable candidate to try it out on because, first of all, my mystery audio will completely ruin the 88 beats per minute nonsense. But it'll also just, I think you might be able to hear what the mystery audio is. So let's,
Right.
I want you guys to try and guess if you can. Hold on, I think I can just copy the same multipass over if I'm clever. And maybe you can tell me what you're hearing.
And Lulu Dallas Multipass.
Multipass, you know that's multipass. Lulu Dallas, my wife.
I haven't heard this mystery audio.
I think you'll get it. Have a listen. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Here it comes.
And Lulu Dallas Multipass.
Alright.
You know that's multipass. Lulu Dallas, my wife. A newly.
The fifth
It's,
element. Have you seen the fifth element yet?
No,
George has not seen the fifth element. It's bothering me.
Pat
This
told
is-
me about a year ago if I don't watch it, I'm fired.
Remind him every 6 months.
Yeah,
I'm
and
gonna
I
get
was
there, I'm
I
gonna
was
get
shocked that you not only had you not seen it, you had not heard about it.
Well, no, I was quite surprised by that as well
Yeah.
because by the sounds of it, it was a pretty big, major.
Yeah, I would say
blockbuster,
like
right?
I would in my world of references, it's like it's a very well known movie.
Yeah.
It's up there with I don't know if it's Indiana Jones level, but not far off.
Well, it wasn't like some little indie movie that I wouldn't have seen. Yeah, but my theory is it was just like very slightly before my time because I was maybe 7 or 8 when it came out, and I think I must have just been too busy looking at posters of the Spice Girls in my room to see it. But I'll catch up sooner or later.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll watch it as soon as you watch Brassed Off. Have you seen Brassed Off?
I have
So it's a British
Quintessential British music movie.
Oh right. Okay.
It's about a brass band at a mining town in the north of England in the early 90s after all the
We'll have a
pit
viewing
plungers.
here at the office.
Yeah. It's a
All right.
real classic.
Let's move on to number 2.
Oh, yes. Very well done, Mostrino.
Yeah.
That was wonderful. And I'm sorry for ruining it with my mystery audio, but it was terrific. The next winner receiving a Kilohearts t-shirt is Melodic Sequence Generator Multipass by Adam Schneider. So congratulations, Adam. And I will now bring it into the right place. It's called Melodic
Sequence.
Here it is. And I'm expecting this to generate some melodic sequences, so don't let me down, Adam. Let's,
Very neat and tidy.
It's wonderfully neat and
named
tidy,
all the
isn't it?
groups and everything. Yeah, nice.
Beautiful stuff. Are we ready? Let's have a go. Let's just crossfade to the original sound there. I'm just... That's quite a profound difference, isn't it? Cool work, Adam. And we see here there are a few resonators in this one, as we suspected there might have been in the last one. So those are being controlled by, different modulated groups. But oh, and look, the dreaded lane full, the red lane full. So you've really gone the distance with this one and used all the modulation slots available. What is the maximum of modulators in Multipass these days?
Oh, I don't remember.
I think it's 64.
64?
Yeah.
But the groups count as well. So
Yeah.
if you remove all your order, or
Yeah.
your sense of organization, then you can squeeze out a few more.
Excellent. But so that's obviously doing some work to modulate some of these pitched resonators and create those melodic effects. That's really cool. Have you heard this one also?
Yeah, I as I said, I listened to them this morning when we selected the winners, and it's really cool. And I remember this one because it had all the macros set up, and some of them I don't think you're meant to touch, but the Morphit one especially is cool because it sort of evolves the patch a little bit.
Shall we?
Yeah.
Shall we try it? I'm a bit nervous.
You can see it starts modulating the cutoff frequencies, which does more weird and wonderful things to the pitch shifting.
And I want to try this one as well for more dissonance.
Well, the bass is going out of tune. Cool.
It's fine work.
Yeah,
Fine
absolutely
work.
cool.
Very good job.
Yeah, good job,
Adam.
Adam.
Terrific again how different each of these are. Like,
Yeah.
you can go in any direction.
It's absolutely amazing where you can get. I mean, yeah, really, I keep getting blown away that it's possible to do that kind of thing with just these basic effects that sort of are on their own very understandable and reasonable, but you can build super complex systems out of them.
Terrific stuff. There's a little question in the chat here from Amado. Will these multipass presets be available? Will we be putting them into some sort of collection? Some sort of band? We did kind of talk about it.
Right,
didn't we?
yes. We will put all the contest submissions into a bank that will be available on our blog shortly. Maybe tomorrow, maybe Friday, maybe in a few more days. I don't know. But they will be
Exciting
available.
stuff.
Yeah.
So you'll be able to enjoy these with us. Right, so finally, and like I said, this is not necessarily in any particular order, but the third winner among our group of 3 is Finish the Song .multipass by Sanjo, who I've seen in the chat. So
All right,
congratulations,
cool.
and let's have a listen to it. It's just here. Finish the Song. Where is it? Hold on. That would be a bit of an anticlimax if I didn't have it. I'm in alphabetical order.
You
It's- I think so. Where is it? It's not there. Whoa!
are? What, did
Wait
you
a
lose
minute.
it?
I must have lost it. Hold on, let me go back to camera. You guys chat for a minute while
No,
I search it out. I think I might have
I'll
it
go
on my Slack.
send it to you. Hang on.
All right. Per, you're on your own.
Yeah.
Tell us something interesting.
More interesting than the Ohm's law and decibel.
Well, there's nothing more interesting. Don't be silly. The next most interesting thing you can think of after that, if you can.
Today we compiled our code with Clang on Windows. We usually use Visual Studio compiler for Windows and Clang for Mac OS. But we gave Clang on Windows a try. We've tried it before. Compilation times are longer, but it gave a speed boost to the DSP code. It's better at generating code, so at least for what we do.
Yeah, it's and as not being the most proficient programmer myself, it's always interesting to sit next to Per when he's doing these kind of optimizations. Normally you would think, oh, I gotta optimize this loop because it does too many things and in a weird order. But these kinds of optimizations that you need to do when dealing with DSP code that, updates 90,000 times a second, the stuff that you're optimizing is like very simple mathematic operations.
Yep.
Like flooring a value, like removing the decimal part of a value. That function that does that in the standard programming library is too slow.
Yes.
We need a better function to do that exact, very, very simple mathematical operation.
And that's just one thing that Clang optimized a
Yeah.
lot better than the Visual Studio.
Well, that was very interesting.
Yep.
Yeah.
Thank you, and congratulations. It's nice to make progress, huh?
Thank you.
And you've successfully teased out the process even further of announcing our final winner. So here we are with Finish the Song .multipass, and this is by Sanjo, and congratulations, a t-shirt winging its way to you.
Good job.
Here's how it sounds. Are we ready?
Yeah.
Are we ready? That's clearly wrong. What have I done now? That was just the sort of ready. I'll try it again.
This is pretty incredible. This
finished it.
Yeah, he did finish it. Like almost all the parts of the original audio have been transformed into song.
Yeah. That's fascinating. So we've got a big snap heap in the middle here, which is doing some work to create new noises out of the impulses, I suppose, and creating new melodies and new parts from resonators.
I think if you go back to the patch, it has so that the macros are set up to be like a mixer. So it's gain controls for all the various parts of the new song.
I see.
So you can like mix it to your liking. You can remove the bass line or like just one of the leads or just a hi-hat.
Oh, well, interesting. I feel like we should hear at least one or two of them in isolation, shouldn't we? So let's remove, say, the bass line and the drums and see how isolated this stuff actually is. That's really very neat indeed. And pitch plus minus, maybe we can... Very nice. Good stuff.
I mean, he must have put a lot of hours into doing this.
Absolutely time well spent, I'd say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Everything
really
for a
cool.
t-shirt.
Yeah. Really awesome.
Awesome job.
Hey, wonderful. Well, thank you so much, everybody who engaged with the competition. It's been really cool to see some of these and given us all a few ideas, I expect, as well.
Yep.
So, well done to you all, and thank you. And I'm just sorry everyone can't win, but those of you who have, look forward to your t-shirts and wear them with pride and joy and all that stuff. Let's just take one more quick look at the comments.
Yeah, sure.
Before we go. We'll not stick around all night, but here we go. There's a big LOL from Sanjo. Yeah, good work. Any plans for Linux versions? Linux?
We
From
have
SN?
plans to not make Linux versions.
That is a plan.
It's the right thing to do, but it also would suck up a lot of our time.
Yeah.
So
And resources.
we've decided not to.
Yeah. At least not in, the next 5 to 10 years.
Yeah.
Viscourses, where can I buy these presets? You can get them for free on our blog in a couple of days. Check back to kilohearts.com.
Yeah, that's it. As always, I'm too late, says Peter B. We're so sorry. Join the Discord and follow us on Twitter
Yeah,
and
there
Instagram.
will be
and-
more competitions, absolutely. We're planning on doing it, semi-regularly.
Yeah, it's tough to keep everyone informed all the time as quickly as we'd like to, but you can help us out by joining the mailing list, joining the Discord. We're on TikTok, we're on YouTube, we're lots and lots of places.
Yeah.
So Facebook,
Yeah.
if you remember that one, we're around. So come and join in, and we'll do our best to tell you when everything's coming up.
Yep. Amado is asking, how can I get a t-shirt even if we're not a winner? Is it available through the Kilohearts site? Unfortunately, no. We've been trying at various times to set up some kind of merch shop, but it just never panned out really. So unfortunately, your best bet is to either catch us at a trade show, but those are few and far between, or you can keep on the lookout for the next competition or the one after that. So yeah, do that.
Absolutely. And if we ever do, it'll be a fun thing to come up with new puns every couple of months for a new t-shirt, won't it? But, yeah, great stuff. It's a quick question from Just a Kumquat, which is about where we should start if we wanted to design plugins or DSP work. What should we look to? Someone suggested Reactor 6, says Just a Kumquat.
Reactor 6 can probably be a good place to start. It has, just like Per mentioned earlier, that we don't want our modules to be too fine-grained. Designers of reactors felt differently, and they have like a plus and a multiply and
very basic
very
operations.
very basic.
More like programming.
Yeah,
And
it's like
less
visual
like
programming. But
music.
they also have the larger blocks like filters and oscillators that
Mhm.
are high quality and working. So if you want to play around with like low level audio design, that's a good place to start. But it won't teach you to make a filter. So if that's what you're into, then maybe read some papers. Get MATLAB, I guess.
Yeah.
Or just start playing around in C++ or Rust or something
Mhm.
low level.
Terrific.
All right.
Yeah. Any more catching your eye?
Stereo says,
Super
I
good.
loved this stream. Thank you, guys.
Oh, we loved it too, didn't we?
We loved you as well.
Yeah, very much so.
Thank you so much for, sticking around and listening to us babbling.
Yeah, we enjoy doing what we do, and we enjoy telling people about it and sharing the joy with them. And it's a real treat to hear that so many people get a kick out of it, as we always do when we start streaming or start looking at Discord. There's a lot of wonderful folks out there doing wonderful things. So
Yeah.
keep it up, and thank you all.
All right.
Yeah.
See you next
Anything
time.
else to say then, folks? No?
No?
Yeah.
See you next time.
Yeah.
Yeah. We'll catch up with you soon.
That's
Keep
fun.
an eye on things and see you again.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot. Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.